full power of the dark side. I hope you all enjoyed my little trailer the other day, because now is the time for the actual unboxing. Super excited about this. When I saw this at the comic book store that I usually go to, my local comic book store, they had this in a glass case. Normally, this is marked up for like $500, $600, sometimes even more. Got this on a deal for $200. That's it. That's all it was. So I went ahead and purchased this, and I gotta say, super excited about it. It seems to come with all different types of Sith little collector items and maps and different things. But the coolest thing is that it has a book inside of this. The Book of the Sith. And I'm super excited to see what exactly is in this. I have heard of this. I've also heard of it's called the Book of the Jedi, or the Path of the Jedi. It's the opposite of this one. And I've heard of both of them, but I have yet to actually go and figure out what's actually inside of them. I haven't looked online or anything. So anyways, let's go ahead and skip the talking and get straight to the dark side. Look at that. Look at that. A full Sith holocron. This is super dope. If you don't know what a holocron is, if you're coming into this not being really a Star Wars fan, or if you are but you're not so in-depth into the lore that you don't understand what this is, they didn't talk about this too much in the movies, I don't believe. They talked more about it in Clone Wars and things of that nature. I believe the stories, the actual books that you would read and stuff like that. But they didn't talk, I know in the games they did too. I know for a fact in the games, like Knights of the Old Republic, they did stuff like that. So a holocron is basically a crystal that has a bunch of intel, knowledge, and all types of other stuff, sometimes even maps and coordinates to certain places. And it basically stores and holds a lot of information for the Jedi and for the Sith. There's obviously two different types of holocrons, and they both are powered by two different forces, one being the light side of the Force, one being the dark side of the Force. And some to, if not most holocrons, have to be unlocked. And the only way you can unlock it is if you're Force sensitive in one or the other. If you use the dark side more, you'll be able to unlock the Sith holocrons 9 times out of 10, especially if they're locked up. And with the Jedi holocrons, you have to be using the light side of the Force, using the Force versus the dark side. So that's how holocrons kind of work. They're basically just little crystals that light up and glow and are powered by one side of the Force. And you have to have that side of the Force mainly to unlock them. 9 times out of 10, if a Jedi or Sith are looking for a holocron, if it's that important for them to be searching for it, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be locked. So you have to either have one or the other to unlock it. So I know for a fact in the Clone Wars and in Star Wars Rebels and stuff like that, Darth Maul has been seen looking for holocrons and things like that. He's been seen, looking for intel and stuff, going to dark temples. This is the type of stuff he's looking for. Really cool that they actually put it in a holocron, because for it to be a book and having maps and everything else that's going to be inside of this, I think it's really dope that they put it inside of the main thing that the Jedi and Sith kept all of their intel in. So that's really dope. This does light up and make sound, especially according to the box. It does come with batteries, but I took the batteries out and I put new batteries in that I just bought so that it would be nice and fresh. I don't know how long the batteries that were in the box had been in there, so I didn't want it to be faded at all when I opened this. I should probably open it this way so we can see it pop out, but let's get it right there. That is the coolest thing. That is probably one of the coolest things I think I now own. This is dope. Not only does it have lights, not only does it make sound effects of the holocron opening up and being powered up by the dark side of the Force, it lifts out, up, and then the Book of the Sith comes sliding out. That is the coolest thing I think I own now to date. Book of the Sith. Nothing on the back. Look at that. Oh, it's so cool. That's awesome, actually. That's like really, really dope. Let me set this off to the side so that we can see what do we got in there. We got some stuff. Let's go ahead and see what we got. We have an actual kyber crystal. If you don't know what a kyber crystal is, a short little thing for you. A kyber crystal is the thing that actually powers lightsabers. So, lightsaber like this, for example, around up here, kind of where the button is, actually, there would be a little compartment inside the lightsaber. If you took this apart, if you were like a Jedi or Sith building your own lightsaber or dismantling a lightsaber to fix it, you would dismantle this part, and there would be two little like nodes holding up a crystal. And depending on the color of your lightsaber, depends on, it changes the color of, obviously, of your lightsaber. The crystal will be a certain color. With the Sith, though, they bleed their crystals. So they would go and kill a Jedi, a Sith would. I know for a fact Darth Vader had to. It's kind of a rite of passage as a Sith that your first lightsaber, red lightsaber, your Sith lightsaber, is the only way you should technically have it as a rite of passage to become a Dark Lord of the Sith is to kill a Jedi. Once you kill the Jedi, you take their lightsaber and you dismantle it and you bleed the crystal. And then you put it back together, and that ends up becoming your lightsaber. After that, they can always change certain aspects on the outside of their lightsaber, but it has to normally, 9 times out of 10, if you're following the code of the Sith, if you're following the rule of 2, if you're following all of that stuff, that is how all Sith get their lightsabers, or should get their lightsabers, to get their rite of passage into the dark side. So right here is where this crystal would be. Now, to actually see the crystal, to know what I'm talking about, let me get it out here, if I can. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze to get it out. Dang, they got this thing in here tight. Oh, there we go. I was about to say, they got this sucker in tight. So this is what a kyber crystal looks like. It's a very, very dark red, so you really can't tell. Maybe if I get it up closer right there. There you go. You can kind of see it's like a ruby red. Not like a bright ruby, but you could see it. It's got red to it. So this is a kyber crystal. This is a Sith crystal. And the reason it's a Sith crystal now is because it's been bled. So somebody in the Force would take it. Sometimes, I know in the newer shows, they actually touch the crystal. I could see that if it wasn't turned on, but I know in the Acolyte, God, what a dumb show. I know in the Acolyte, the girl touches the kyber crystal to bleed it with her hand while the lightsaber is ignited. That should burn your hand off. That should burn your hand off, because if the lightsaber is ignited and you touch the kyber crystal, it's surging with power. So your hand should just disintegrate or completely be burnt off. But the way that it's been shown in every other show, every other game, or anything else like that, is that you would use the Force to change this. you would dive into the dark side of the Force as much as you could, and it would be a strenuous, hard shove of making this into a Sith crystal, basically a kyber crystal. So they would have the lightsaber opened, they'd have the crystal there, and you can see Starkiller rebuilding his lightsaber using the Force, other things like that. There's actually a comic of Darth Vader bleeding his crystal. But literally, they use the Force to completely crack and bleed this crystal, make the crystal bleed, because kyber crystals are a living crystal of Force. And they would just bleed it with the Force as much as they could, straining all of their power into it, all of their hatred and their anger and their pain and suffering, and then it would change from blue or green or white or whatever the Jedi had before they were killed into the red crystal you now see before you. So this is really cool that they give you a kyber crystal. This is awesome. I love this. Very big part to a Sith becoming a Sith, obviously, because it's more of a ritual rite of passage to become a Sith, more so than just the Jedi. All the Jedi do is they go into a cave and they mine out the crystals, and they just take a crystal, put it in a lightsaber, and they're done. That's all they need, because the Force is already a power within the crystals. Versus the Sith actually have to subjugate and conquer the crystal and make it theirs. So I think that's really, really cool. We've got this. Now, this looks like it's a compass. Yeah. So this is a Sith compass. This actually looks like the one, this reminds me of, if you ever watched the newer Star Wars movies, like the sequels and stuff, Kylo Ren has to find, I believe he has to actually find a holocron as well. But he has to find a compass that will take him to Palpatine's new temple on that dark planet that he ended up being on, where they're like, somehow Palpatine returned. Still a stupid movie, but they did get that one part right. The Sith do have compasses that tell them where to go and tell them certain specific places of power for the Sith. So I do believe this is actually a Sith compass. Let me get it up closer there for you to see. So this looks like it's a Sith compass. But they would use these compasses. They would usually find these compasses inside of old Sith libraries or ancient Sith temples. And they would basically take you to treasures of the Sith, or they would take you to certain things, powerful places of meditation. They were basically wayfinders. Actually, just to make sure I'm not spouting bull, I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Unless this is something else that they put in here. Let me see. Holocron case, Book of the Sith text, and 7 removable objects. Yeah, but I'm trying to look for what we got. It just says 7 Sith objects. Or several collected Sith objects. Actually, let me read this because this is interesting. It says, secrets from the dark side. The Sith have existed for centuries. As Sith lords rose to power, a few recorded their philosophy and schemes to seize control of the galaxy. Over the years, their knowledge vanished, or so it seemed. Their writings were passed among select Sith and even Jedi, who added their thoughts to the rare pages. In his quest for domination, Darth Sidious tracked down what remained of the 5 most legendary dark side texts. Drawing from that knowledge, he wrote a 6th text, his own manifesto. These documents, along with several collected Sith objects, form the Book of the Sith. With a pyramid-shaped case, this collection remained hidden for generations. Now all who are tempted may unleash the power and madness of the dark side. Really, really cool. That's dope. It does not actually get into what it is, Well, I guess technically it is called Secrets of the Dark Side, so it's not going to tell you, is it? Maybe it tells you in the book. Maybe it tells you in the book. I might have to check it in the book to see. But yeah, I do believe that this is actually a compass. There's also Sith writing written here where all these little objects are. So like there's a Sith thing written here, right where the Kyber crystal is, and a Sith text written right here where the compass is. All right. So then if it closes up, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool. Let me see. I don't think there's any other compartments on this. I believe that is it. But let's go ahead and check out the Book of the Sith here. All right. Oh, this is cool. Wait a minute. Each recovered text has its own texture and size. We'll never know what the complete books look like. These pages are all that remain. Luke. So Luke is supposed to have wrote this about the text of the Sith. So it seems Luke actually collected this. Found what remained. This is really cool. Book of the Sith. This is how it starts off there. That's really, really cool. Oh, wow. It gets really into all this. Preface by Darth Sidious. So, yeah, a lot of this seems to be written by Darth Sidious. Oh, and they have notes written by Luke. This is really, really cool. So this was found by Luke Skywalker after the fall of Darth Sidious, supposedly. From the context, I believe Palpatine assembled this volume soon after declaring himself Emperor or sometime around 19 through 18 BBY. And every time at the end it says Luke. New Republic Intelligence wants to review this book, and as a favor to Wedge and Isla, I've agreed. I numbered the pages for NRI's reference. This is cool. This is actually pretty cool. There's like a whole backstory into it, and it talks about what Luke does afterwards when he finds it. Emperor Palpatine kept many secrets in his storehouse on Wayland, including a chamber that went undetected until 24 ABY. So far, only Leia, Mara, and I know about this book. I want to make sure it's not dangerous before sharing it with the Historical Council. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool, I gotta say. At the time I wrote these words, I hoped my empire would provide limitless reach. Yet I must still rely on others to do my bidding, and they are so often foolish, flawed, and disappointing. Sidious. Yeah, instead of signing it, he actually has like a little thing that he stamps it of approval after everything he writes. So everything he writes is written in red, and everything Luke writes is just in regular black. I'll read the first page of the preface. Obviously, there's a lot to get into with this book. I'm not going to sit here for like multiple hours reading the full book. I'll do that on my own time. But I'll read the preface just to get into what actually it starts off with. I have accomplished what no Sith have ever done before. I have destroyed the Jedi and subverted Coruscant. I sat on the throne of a new and unstoppable regime. I will shape the great galactic empire according to my own design. The Sith have dreamt of this moment since the beginning of recorded history. I could not have achieved this prize without treading on the backs of those who came before. Exploiting the failures of others is the way of the Sith. Since my days as a young noble on Naboo, long before I joined Darth Plagueis the Wise and began my apprenticeship, I collected dark side lore. These rubbings of Sith tablets and untranslatable runic scrolls were coveted and traded on the black markets by cultists, collectors, and museum curators willing to defy the Republic's ban on Sith artifacts. This is really cool. This is awesome. The very existence of this illicit trade confirms my many vital truths. Rulers seek to control information. The powerful will do anything to hoard their power. And if something is forbidden, it is likely a thing worth knowing. Getting these artifacts past the law officials and into my quarters on Naboo proved new lessons. True power brokers dwell in the shadows. Credit can buy anything, even intangible concepts, such as access and silence. It is necessary to lie to achieve anything of value, and a skilled liar is nearly impossible to detect. Although my experience acquiring these texts provide a practical knowledge of how treasures and secrets change hands, as well as the roles non-force sensitives play in keeping the galaxy running, the actual dark side tomes depended my knowledge of the ancient Sith. I realized that I had all of the tools I needed to craft my own system of power, one that fused contemporary politics with Sith ideals. Under the tutelage of Darth Plagueis, I inherited the Sith archives, more than 1,000 years worth of teachings, passed in secret from master to apprentice. But what I learned was that only a handful of figures had ever truly advanced the cause of the Sith. Thus, I made it my goal to recover their most famous writings, not the revisions of misguided chroniclers who lived hundreds of years after them, but the parchments bearing the original words and recorded by their hands. With the fall of the Jedi Temple, I finally recovered the last of these documents, though only fragments of each have survived the centuries. Together, these pages unite one of the first Sith Lords with he who shall be the last. Each author's voice echoes the era in which he or she held power, but the Sith Order has evolved over 7,000 years. The errors made by my predecessors will not be my own. Their triumphs will be nothing compared to my omnipotence. Dang. He's basically saying, I'm number one. Whatever they did in the past won't even compare to the crap I'm about to bring down on the galaxy. And he is the most powerful one. He went and searched, seems to be behind Darth Plagueis' back, and actually searched for different books and scriptures of the Sith and of the dark texts to find all the different things. Oh wow, it actually has this is a wild book, guys. This is a wild book. Oh, this is wild. As you can see here, let me show you. Oh, something fell. Anyways, as you can see here, they've got all the different notes you can see there. Some are written in red, some are written in black. I don't know where that fell out at, but we'll find it. We'll find it here somewhere. Yeah, this looks like it's about right. Somewhere. Gotta find it and put it back. Gosh. History of Dathomir. Oh my gosh, this book is crazy cool. This is actually really cool. I definitely need to read this fully. This isn't something that you could just sit here in a video and just read. This would take a long time to read and to fully understand everything inside of this. I mean, yeah, just look at this stuff. Like Sith writing on like some type of fabric with like old stained blood. Like, this is crazy. It's got texts that have been deciphered by Sidious, some that have been deciphered by Luke after the fact. It talks about some of the old Dark Jedi. Kasaya. Dude, this is crazy cool. It talks about the different creatures. The Rancor. That's cool. Yeah, this is awesome. Sith alchemy. This is awesome. So I guess like the different maps and things and the other little items are stored inside the actual book. So you have to go to the certain pages where they're supposed to be, and that's where you'll find them. I'll definitely have to check this book out even more. This, like I said, this is not something that you could just... This is not something you could just read in a video. If you want to read all of this, I suggest doing it online or buying your own. Really cool, though, that they give you a kyber crystal and they give you a compass. I would really like to know what that compass does or where that compass is from. I believe it looks like it's a compass to some type of temple, though. From the way I'm looking at it, that's what most of the Sith compasses are. That's where they take you. But yeah. This is really, really cool. I mean, this book, it feels amazing. It's amazing condition, awesome looking. I am really curious, though, on how... If Luke got this after the dark side's fall, after the Empire fell, how did he... If the Death Star blew up, how did he recover this? I wonder how he recovered this. Oh, Coruscant. I'm stupid. Coruscant. The, what do you call it? The Chancellor's office on Coruscant, because because remember, he was a senator, and then that was his office and then he became Chancellor, and then he became the Emperor. Gotcha. So this was all probably in his office, kind of like in Revenge of the Sith. You see all those Sith artifacts along the walls of his office. I bet this was sitting right here. I wonder if I could go back and actually find this. I wonder if they made this product, this Book of the Sith, based off of something that you actually see in Revenge of the Sith. That would be dope. I know that they have like Sith masks of certain Sith. Like I think Is it Darth Bane's? I think they have Darth Bane's mask sitting inside of the office too, don't they? I know that they have that, and I know that there's like General Grievous's mask and other things like that, because I believe, what's his name? Grand Admiral Thrawn actually has the mask. He ends up getting the mask of General Grievous. I believe so. But yeah, this is super, super cool. I absolutely love this. This is awesome. It's completely in the style of the Sith. It looks no different than something you would see in Star Wars. It reminds me of very, very much of the holocrons, Sith and Jedi, that you actually see in Star Wars Rebels and in the Clone Wars. It looks very much like the temple that you actually see Darth Maul, Ezra, Kanan, and Darth Vader and Ahsoka all at in Rebels. This looks very, very similar to the temple, to the art style, and it also looks a lot like the stuff that you would see from the old Knights of the Republic, the old Republic games. This is super, super cool, and it will 100% look amazing with my gold gold lightsabers. It will look perfect with them. So when I do put this up, whether I get a shelf for it or something or whatever else, I will 100% have this set up very nicely with some other stuff. Also, I'm going to Disney soon. I am going to Disney for me and my fiance's. It will be our honeymoon right after our wedding, funny enough. We are going to Disney down there, and we are going to Galaxy's Edge. We're going to all 4 parks, but we're going to Galaxy's Edge. So I will actually be able to go and get other things, maybe like a Sith robe, or get, what do you call it? I will get a lightsaber. It will be red, and it will have a kyber crystal inside of it. So I will probably put that lightsaber right next to this, just because it's got a kyber crystal inside of it, which is really, really cool. But yeah, guys, this is my unboxing of this. If you all enjoyed my thoughts, my own knowledge of the Sith and certain things that I've learned being a fan of Star Wars and the stuff that's inside of here, if you all enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. Post your comments down below and let me know what you all thought about this. Do you all think this is as cool as I do? Do you all want to go get one of these? There's like I said, there's a Jedi one. If Sith isn't really your thing, if you don't like Darth Vader and all of them as much, but you like Qui-Gon and Yoda and Luke and all them, they have a Jedi one, and I believe it actually is in a Jedi holocron as well. I think so. But they do have one of that. I believe it's called the Path of the Jedi, or it's called the Book of the Jedi. But yes, so there is that one. But if you all enjoyed this video, like I said, post your comments down below. Let me know what you all thought about this. I think this is absolutely amazing. I'm super excited that I have this. I'm super excited to set it up, and I am super, super, super excited to go to Galaxy's Edge and to be able to go see all of that stuff. I will be going to Galaxy's Edge near the end of September into the beginning of October. So during that time frame, I will be there. I will be in Disney, and one of those days will specifically be a Galaxy's Edge day. I will be making a video for that. And I'll be making videos, shorts, TikToks, all types of different stuff about that. That'll be a very big day for content on this channel. Super excited about going. And as always, guys, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.